Welcome to APEA Dog Grooming. On today's video, viewer discretion is advised. It's pretty obvious he hasn't been groomed in a very long time. The owner tells me that this is his second time getting groomed ever since she's had him. He is a rescue dog, however, he has been under her care for about a year. So, he has horrible mats, he has about a good zillion of fleas, and, well, sometimes not everything is as we wish it would be, and real life is that animals that come in, not every day, but they do come in, so someone has to do it, I'm not sure how or why this owner let this dog get in this state, but I am no one to judge. Just I'm here to do my job, and sometimes this is my job, and that's okay. So I've already put on some flea repellent on him and on my tub. I do everything in my tub, so I'm just putting the hair in this bucket that I use for garbage, and I'm putting in hot water in there. So we're doing a rough cut on him. I did use a 10 because a number 7 would have been just devastating for his skin. I mean, it's really thin, obviously because of the mats. He does have some kind of injuries or scabs on his back, but that's just from him scratching and itching from all those fleas. So I do have gloves on, and I will keep them on until I take off all of the fleas off him. And be sure to check out my video on mats and shaving double-coated dogs and all of that. I talk about what can happen if you let your dogs get this matted. And even though I know I said don't ever use a 10 to shave, to do a shave down, in this particular case it was necessary. A number 7 would have been just too dangerous, and I mean, clearly this dog isn't being taken out for walks and stuff, so not too much harm can happen. So I have mixed feelings about this dog and the owner. Actually, the owner. The dog, it's not his fault. So I am pretty upset that anyone would let their dog get to this point where it's obviously hurting his skin and fleas are just everywhere. However, she is an older lady. I mean, it's not an excuse, but I understand. I'm not sure what goes on in her life that maybe she can't care for the dog, but just the fact that she took him to me and we're doing this groom just tells me that she cares. I don't know what happened or why, but she cares enough for this groom to happen today, and that's all I care about. Okay, so I was pretty upset at the beginning at first, right? I was pretty upset for this dog. It's almost insulting to see the neglect he's under. However, I didn't want to create an environment for me and the dog, because at the end that's what it's all about, me and the dog. Where I felt frustrated and angry and upset and everything. And he can feel that. I mean, animals are very sensitive to that type of energy you're portraying. So I was thinking in my head, I'm not gonna think about how upset I am, but rather what can I do together with this owner to provide a better care for this dog. So in the end, it was a happy end because he was obviously feeling a lot better. I managed to take off all of the fleas off him. He has another sister, Poodle type also, and we were going to groom them more often for a lower price. And that's a sacrifice on my business, yeah, but it's a sacrifice I am willing to take for the wellness of these pets. So this 2-for-1 deal that I made with the owner only stands if the owner brings in the dogs at least every 2 to 3 months. That's only because I don't want them to get in such a rough shape again. I mean, it's, like I said earlier, it's insulting. So that's what I came up with, and I know I'm going to get a lot of criticism and maybe negative comments on that, because you're devaluing the groomer's work, and what about your tools and your equipment you use and everything. But it's my business, it's my equipment, my tools, my decision. So that's that. So the reason why I decided to rough cut him first was because I wasn't going to blow dry him. I was going to let him air dry. There is a spot behind that door on the left that the sun hits. So I am going to air dry him, make sure he's all dry, and then I am going to finish off the groom. By then, I hope all the fleas are gone so that we can finish him up. The reason why I'm not going to blow dry him is because I don't want the fleas going all around my salon, or the flea eggs, blowing everything into my salon. So that is the reason. So I did muzzle him. In the end, I did notice that he wasn't trying to bite. He was actually just trying to get away from me. But since it was his first groom with me, I wasn't going to take the risk and let him bite me. That's why I muzzled him. I usually don't like doing that, but you gotta do what you gotta do. So I know this is hard on some people to watch, but I want to just say please hold back on your negative comments. I am the type of person who always tries to look for positivity in everything and every situation I've been. Is it easy to watch? No. Is it easy to do? No. Does it bother you? Yeah. Does it even hurt your feelings a little bit when you see a dog in this condition? Yeah, of course it does. But we can't just be, "Aw, poor baby," and then not do anything. Okay? We have to take action. I mean, a lot of groomers, the owner told me that a lot of groomers have rejected them from being groomed. I'm guessing because of his, the fleas and the mats and everything. But someone has to do it. I mean, you can't just be like, "Oh no, I just do dogs that sit still and don't fuss over anything and everything is perfect, everything is fine." No, this is real life. Sometimes not everything is as pretty as it seems. Most of the time it's not like that. And I think that if we work together as clients and groomers or other groomers, come together, then great things can be achieved. And in this case, well, it may not be so great for you, but it was really great for the dog. So that's just my opinion. I'm just always looking for positivity. That's all that matters, at least to me. So this groom was a very tedious groom because you always have to be careful where you're cutting. The problem with cutting off mats and why it's so dangerous is because they're so stuck to the skin that it's easy to nick them, and especially if you can barely see what you're doing, because a whole mat can look like an ear and you can easily catch that. So just gotta be careful and patience. And he was very good, actually. He's a little hesitant around his head, but considering his state of madness, he did very good. I'm very proud of him. I really am. I've had dogs that aren't nearly as mad as him and are aggressive and just way too wiggly, or it was very good. I'm very pleased and I'm very proud of him. I'm pleased with my work and proud also that I could get to the owner and explain and have a plan, because I could have just done the groom and said nothing and charged a bunch of money, or charged nothing. People do that. And thing is, she's not gonna come back in another year or so I much rather have the owner happy, the dog happy, everybody happy, but mostly the dog happy. That's just how I like to run my business. So when cutting off a mat, the easiest thing to do is attack the mat from different angles. Not attack, but you know what I mean. Just get your clipper on one angle, and if it's not cutting, use it at another angle, and just keep going at it at different angles until it comes off. And it will. I mean, it has its weak points, and you just gotta find it with your clipper. Remember to switch out your blades when they're getting hot or warm. You can cool them down with the Andis disinfectant and cooler. It's called Cool Care. I'm sure there are other brands out there that do the same thing. Or you could just take that one off, put a new one on, and cool the other blade on a cool surface, such as the floor, a marble tile on next to a fan, anything that will help cool it down. Just checking the edge of the tail, make sure I didn't catch it with the blade, and taking off any excess hair because, as I said, I'm not going to blow dry. So now I've put the clippers away and just started scissoring everything that he didn't let me do with the clipper. He didn't let me work around his face a lot, so just had to take off everything that I didn't want. Like I said, he did pretty good. I'm really surprised that he wasn't aggressive at all. So just taking off everything. Just putting again some very hot water in my bucket just to get rid of any survivors. So this is why I don't like using gloves when using scissors or clippers or anything, because I can't feel as I would normally feel with my bare hands. I know I have to wear them with hair that gets stuck in my skin. I will be making a video on how to get rid of splinter hairs in your hand, but it just makes it more difficult for me to feel around and see where I can cut and where I cannot. So sorry guys, my camera battery ran out. I was charging it while I was bathing him. Just let him sit in his medicated shampoo or soap actually, and just let him sit with that for at least 20-25 minutes. And I just waited with him because he was getting very antsy that he wanted to leave. And yeah. So you can see all of those fleas that ended up in my drain. I mean, I'm glad they're gone, but it can be disgusting actually. So now what I'm doing is, while I'm waiting for that to sit, I am trying to comb out all the fleas of him with a flea comb. So sorry you can't see that on the camera, but I'm sure on one we'll get it. This is also why it's important for us to do the rough cut, so that when the fleas are not jumping around and they're all dead, we can easily comb them out using a flea comb. So on the plus side, he's white, so I can easily see where the fleas are, because they are so fat, and just using a comb to comb them out. The water I'm using to take them off the comb is really hot. Not enough so that it burns him or me, but enough where I'm making sure they're dead. So like I said earlier, this is a very tedious groom, but it is always worth seeing a happy face on a doggy. And again, my battery ran out, so sorry for not filming the whole thing, but I'm pretty much done. Just going over and over the dog, checking him thoroughly, making sure there are no more fleas, and then dried him, air dried him, and now we're going to do a final cut. So using a clean, disinfected number 10 blade, just going over everything I did with my scissors and the rough cut. You can see on his back he has some lacerations on, and you can actually tell there's a spot where it's infected. So I did tell the owner she has to take him to the vet. I'm not sure if she will. Hope she really does. But in the meantime, he is free of fleas. So his fur wasn't 100% dry, but it was dry enough where I could finish him off. The owner was already calling to pick him up, so I guess she was in a rush. But we were pretty much done, so just making him even. So you can tell by his behavior that he felt so much better. He was actually letting me clip around his face, whereas before the bath it was nearly impossible because he kept jerking around. But his attitude is so much different. I actually found some more fleas and I thought I had finished them all off, but I found like 2 or 3 more. But yeah, he's feeling so much better and he's so cute. Like his face is so small. I don't know, and like roundish. His muzzle isn't like pointy, it's a rounded muzzle, and I think for the next time he'll look really, really nice with some fluffy ears and just shave down all his body so we can keep treating that skin that's all damaged from the flea dirt and him scratching, obviously. So, and the flea bites, obviously. So, just really hoping his owner sticks to our plan and I see him again in a couple of months. So now that he's all clean and dry, we can see that his laceration is infected. It's actually a greenish color. So all I did, because I am not a vet, is clean the wound with some distilled water. And like I said before, recommended she took him to a vet. Make sure it's nothing worse than it seems. And yeah, now I am just doing a quick sanitary, making sure all of that area is shaved down, and forgot to film his nails being cut, but they were actually not long at all. Like, I'm really surprised that they weren't long. Maybe she cuts them herself, I'm not sure, but I've had other clients who come in with way, way worse nails. So I just wanted to let you know that when I was finished with this groom, this was the only groom of the day, so I had the rest of the day to disinfect everything and clean everything out and put some flea repellent on my tub, my floors, this towel, and all of the clothes I'm using, and everything. It has to be disinfected and has to be washed. Okay, because if another client comes in after this one, it is most likely that it will also get infested. So, in order to take care of yourself, your salon, and in my case, my own pets that come into my salon, it is very important to clean everything once you're done doing a dog like this, or any other dog actually. Especially with this whole COVID-19 pandemic, I disinfect my equipment and my tub and my towels, everything in between clients. Disinfecting equipment in between clients is not a new thing for me. I've always done that because I use the same equipment on my own pets, and I really wouldn't like things that have been used on other dogs to be used on my own pet. So for that same reason of how picky I am with my things and my animals, I would hope that other groomers do the same. I always treat my clients as if they were my own because I am a very picky owner. So with this whole COVID-19 pandemic, all the extra procedures of cleaning and disinfecting and everything, I've always done. I mean, it's nothing new to me. It's just the way I receive pets now that, not pets, sorry. It's the way that I receive clients that has actually changed. I don't let them in my salon. I receive the pets at the door. I receive the dogs at the door. And I take them straight to my tub and don't let them wander around anywhere else. I don't use cages. That's a decision I made for my business. I only do by appointment, so I don't need cages because, like I said, I don't like when other groomers cage dogs because I don't like my own pets being caged. I know sometimes it's necessary, and I know it's part of, I guess, having a pet, but in my case, I'm very picky. So that's just the type of owner I am, so that's the type of groomer I am. And we are done, finally. Here are some pictures of what he looked like in the end. He didn't look anything like he looked in the beginning. I'm so glad I took before and after pictures because you would have never guessed this very handsome pup was underneath all of those mats. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I know it was a tough one to watch, but we are finally done. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Happy grooming and stay safe out there. Bye!